I, Dr. Frederick Palance Barrymore, am about to embark upon a most controversial and somewhat dangerous experiment involving an exchange of the condition of our basic natures. Even as a child, I was intrigued and obsessed with the transformation of one state of being into another. After an endless series of trial and error, I finally found the definitive answer to my laborious endeavors: the actual mental and physical metamorphosis of the human being and his soul. Unfortunately, a grand poo-poo happened, and now I cannot transfer myself back to Dr. Barrymore. And I find I am trapped inside this creature-like being known as Igoro. 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 Hello, it's me, Igoro. Today I'm going to go through some tidbits that I found. Little bits and pieces of things that I got in my old childhood house. I got boxes and boxes of monster stuff. So I have a box right here in front of me. And I'm going to dig through some stuff and show you some of my Igoro precious items. The first one I wanted to show you is this one. It's a biggie. It is a silver screen edition of The Bride of Frankenstein. But oh, look! The side says, "Creature from the Black Lagoon." What? What happened there? I never took it out of the box for that very reason. This is the silver screen edition. And it's very rare because, again, it has a Creature from the Black Lagoon packaging, and yet the bride's inside. Oh, somebody made a mistake. My treasure is their goof. This is the silver screen. The only ones that were silver screen as far as I know, or at least at this point, were the Creature, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Bride of Frankenstein. So this is a beautiful sideshow collectible from the Universal sect. SideshowToys.com. Yeah, they made these. So I got pretty much all of them, I think. Let's get through this stuff and see what else I have. Oh, look! It's a little keychain. Little Bride of Frankenstein keychain. This is a flashlight. Does it still work? Probably not. I've never taken it out of the package again, but this is something that's been stored in my attic in my childhood home. Yes, I love it. I think I only got this keychain. They had other ones, right? But this is the one that I got, Universal. Bride of Frankenstein keychain. Here is my membership card to Famous Monsters of Filmland. I became a member, and there is my card. Oh, I'm so lucky. I love Famous Monsters. I was a big Famous Monsters fan club fella. I collected almost every single of Famous Monsters that ever came out. Almost all of them, except for I think 4 or 5 issues, which we will go through my Famous Monsters of Filmland collection at some point too, because that is, again, in one of my boxes. Oh, looky here! Little Frankenstein. Whoop, whoop. One of these little babies. He's all excited. Yeah, that's a, Frankenstein. Kind of a mismatch. They basically did all the Universal look on it, so Universal must have given it the okay. Don't exactly know what's going on with his clothes there. It looks a little bit like Raggedy Ann, Raggedy Andy, Frank and Raggedy Andy. But anyway, it looks closest to, it looks like a combination of Bride of Frankenstein with the singed hair, because that's when the moon meal burned him in Bride of Frankenstein. It also almost has that The poofy legs look more like Son of Frankenstein. The middle, Raggedy Ann, okay? The Monster Stamp Collection. Remember they made these a while back? I have 2 books of them. Mwah! Let me take a look inside and see what they are actually. Oh yeah, they are. Beautiful prints. Brand spanking new. I never touched them, folks. You know, in the old days, you just ripped open the packages and then find out years later, oh my gosh, that was worth buckaroos, but I was 8 and I didn't know. There's a musical I did, Reefer Madness, but it has nothing to do with this. Ha! Okay. Batman, Superman, the Hulk, which was based, Stan Lee said that the Hulk was based on the Frankenstein monster and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Love Stan Lee. Ooh, here's a shirt. Well, no, not a shirt, a little blanket for your pet rat, Ben. A little Frankenstein thingamajiggy. Yeah, I don't know what it is other than little, but maybe yeah, a blanket. I just watched Willard, the original Willard. That Ben was, you know, poor Willard, poor man. Ernest Borgnine was a real mean guy. Oop, little Batman, another Dracula eraser for little mistakes. Star Trek thing. Oh, look at these little babies. Little mini Dracula, little mini Frankenstein. See, the details are great. The great thing about these are the details. You know, Dracula, Lugosi never had fangs. Never did, really. And even though, like, my hair is in a widow's peak, which, you know, I decide every day, do I really want a widow's peak? Because it's so Dracula. But, you know, the truth is, Lugosi, when he was in the original Dracula, he didn't really have a widow's peak. He actually wore a toupee, which the Spanish version used the same toupee wig for the night shoot of Dracula. People don't know that. Some don't. But this is more how we expect a Dracula to look. To have a little widow's peak. And there's Karloff as the monster. There's the mummy. And that's Karloff's mummy, not Lon Chaney. There's Grandpa Munster. Oh, hello, Gramps. How are you, buddy? Grandpa Mustard. And then 2 Wolfmans. I don't know why. This is craziness. Look at this crazy guy. Hello, crazy guy. This is the Fly, of course, from not The Fly, but Return of the Fly. There was The Fly, Return of the Fly, and then Curse of the Fly. So the original Fly with David Hedison, his head was a little was smaller. Yeah, Fly's head was smaller. And the Return of the Fly, they went all out, man. They really bulked up his head. He had big freaking head. Like the Fly, for being a little insect, he had one whopper of a head. They just put the whole Fly head right on that poor guy, who looked a lot like David Hedison, but wasn't. Different actor. Don't remember his name. Never saw him in a lot of stuff. But anyway, this is the Fly figure. Oh, and look at this. He's got his little normal foot. And then he has, his Fly foot. Boy, you can't get your shoe on that one, can you? So there you go. Look at that, the Fly. Normal hand? Not so normal. The Curse of the Fly was way different. It was all about mutations and stuff. It's kind of creepy, actually, and scary. And the gal in it was the same gal, I believe. There was an Island of Terror, which was one of my favorites. This is the Mole People. Universal's the Mole People. This is a sideshow. And they were really accurate. They really did good work, didn't they? Like when we did the Aurora models, which I'm going to go through those too, you know, way back in the 60s, they weren't so, exact and accurate all the time with the models. They were pretty good, but there were some, you know, deviations. But in the 80s and 90s, when these things started coming out, they were really starting to get very accurate. This is very accurate, Mole Man. He's even got that weird hump that looks like he's Commando Cody there with his jetpack. Alfred from Batman was in it. Alan, I want to say Napier, is that correct? I think so. And Hugh Beaumont as Dad in The Beaver. He was in it too. It's not my favorite. Oh, and also the creature from the Black Lagoon, Lucas, was in it as well. I love it, Lucas. He was great. Okay, anyway, that is that. And they gave you this great base that went with it, the Mole People, because they were into the mushrooms, because, you know, they're kind of underground folks, so mushrooms grow in the dark. So you put them on there, and you had that going on. Oh, no! Oh, I don't think it's a problem. It's the werewolf of no head. That's the problem when you store things. Their heads pop off. You didn't do anything, and you're like, well, it could have happened when I was shipping it back, or when I packed it up. Who knows when it happened, but it happened. But there he is. This is great. Henry Hull, Werewolf of London. The first Wolfman film from Universal, right? 1935. Because the Wolfman came out in 1940. But the interesting thing about this particular one, here's the base. The bases were great too. And they have a little teeny notch there so you could put his foot on it so he doesn't fall over. But this is Henry Hull. Now, a lot of people heard that Henry Hull didn't want to sit through the long makeup process, and that's why, you know, he looks a little more like a Mr. Hyde sort of. He doesn't quite look like the full werewolf of the Wolfman. But the truth is, Henry Hull noticed in the script that the actors in the movie, the characters, recognized him when he was the werewolf. So he said, well, shouldn't I be a little more recognizable so when people look at me, they don't just think, ah, wolf, run for your life. So they said, yeah, you got a good point there. So when he is shot at the end and stuff, they do recognize him. Henry Hull, the Werewolf of London, which is a pretty darn good film. It's got some great rat eating plants in it and stuff. It's a good film. I enjoy it. The Wolfman. Why not? Speaking of Wolfman, there he is, Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. He is, in my opinion, other than Of Mice and Men, which he's also very good in. The Wolfman, this is what he called his baby, and he was awesome Wolfman. Very good. I even noticed the remake. The actor that played the new Wolfman with Rick Baker's makeup really did look like Lon Chaney. He had the same kind of physicality and look as this Wolfman, which is great. And this Wolfman comes with this great bass, right? Has that great bass that goes on. He's got a little hole in there for his foot so he can Wolfman. Sideshow Toys did a really good job with the likenesses of all these Universal monsters. Oh, this is a side note. It has nothing to do with this Wolfman, but the remake. Rick Baker kind of got burned out from working for film companies because he said in an interview that when he used to make, like when he worked on Werewolf of London, American Werewolf of London, you know, he got to make the creatures and the director was like, great, that's awesome and perfect and exactly what we want. But when Universal came around to remake the Wolfman, everybody, he said, that weren't even artists or even, you know, businessmen take over. They come in and they give him their opinions. Well, can you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that? I'm the guy here that makes these. I know more about monsters than any of you cluckheads. And so he finally, after they had fired the director and there was some mishaps on the remake of the Universal Wolfman, when the new guy came in, he said to them, he said, this is our expanded budget. We've spent all. This is the Wolfman. This is what he's going to look like. And this is how it's going to be. And they were just like, okay. And from that day on, he's like, you know what, I'm done. I've succeeded way beyond what I needed to do in the industry. He does his own projects now. He works independently mostly. And good for him. Good for him for sticking to his art and his craft, because I've met Rick Baker. He's a really talented guy. I haven't been, but when I first saw Rick Baker's work, he was only 18 years old in Florey Ackerman, highlighted it in Famous Monsters. So, on that side note, that's it. That's all for now. That's the end of this part of the Sideshow Collectibles. So, Igoro says, I will see you soon. So take care and goodbye. Hello, it's me, Igoro. This is part 2 of Monsters in the Box. So let's just get to it, shall we? I went to my old home, and I got all my monster stuff. I've got tons of stuff. But I got most of it, all of it. So let's not delay anymore. Let's see what else I have. Ooh, here's a new one. Let's find out what it is. Uh-oh. Something fell off. I don't know what that was, but something went kapapa. Oh, but look, it's Bela Lugosi. It's not Bella, folks. It's Bela Lugosi. I asked Bela Lugosi's son, Bela Lugosi Jr. I said, what do you do when people call him Bela? He just said, well, we just correct them. So it is Bela. If you don't believe me, watch The Wolfman. Bela, the gypsy teller, tells you all. It's not Bella. Tomato, tomato. Not tomato, tomato. Bela. Anyway, Igor from Son of Frankenstein. Again, they did such an exquisite job. What's really noticeable about this is that he's got the humperoo, which I never really noticed that much in the film. Even in Ghost of Frankenstein, I never really noticed how much of a hump he had. Now, they said he was a shepherd. I don't remember him having any sheep or a flock or anything. I was always a little bit confused by that term. But anyway, again, the likeness is really, really well done. Again, he's got a little thing for the blink and the blinky, and I missed it. And there he is. Igor, the original Igor. Fritz was 1931. Carl was 1935, both played by Dwight Frye. He got hung in, Frankenstein, and then he got thrown off the tower in Bride of Frankenstein. Igor gets shot by Rathbone in Son of Frankenstein, but he comes back. So apparently the killing or the shooting wasn't fatal, but it looked like it was in the film, and the monster Karloff screamed out in agony when he found out that poor Bela Igor had been shot. Anyway, that's a beauty. The creature from the Black Lagoon, and he broke. I gotta get him glued. I think he actually broke a while ago. Do subscribe to Agoro, by the way. Just press that button and pickle that bell, tinkle that tootle, and doodle that snoodle. Just do it. But anyway, let me know if you guys have any suggestions for a good kind of glue, because this is different than an Aurora kit. It's a different kind of plastic, but maybe it doesn't matter. I don't really know. But yeah, he broke off, but he is repairable. But again, the likeness of this creature is so well done, except for missing arm. But anyway, yeah, he really looks cool. And he's so cool. And he comes with his own spear gun and a net. They got a net in here too. Look at the net to get that creature. Oh, they tried netting him a couple times. It didn't really work really well. But anyway, it is so well done. The detail is really cool. And that is the creature from the Black Lagoon. This is from the original 1954. It's not from Revenge of the Creature, and it's certainly not Creature Walks Among Us, which I think they did make a Creature Walks Among Us, but I never got it. I don't know. I don't know if they did or not. But let me know if you guys know about that too. I have the Horizon creature as well. Actually, no, I don't. I lied. I do have the Dawn Post creature mask, which I showed you in another episode, and I also have the new one by Trick or Treat Studios of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And I gotta tell you as a heads up, if you're gonna order a mask from Trick or Treat Studios, go with the creature. It's your best bet. Ooh, that's nothing. That's nothing and that's nothing. Oh, here are the spear guns. I've got two. I think I have two because I also have the silver screen edition of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Pretty sure I do. Let's see what else we have. Oh, what is this? The suspense is killing me. A clue. That could be a clue. Let's see if it is. Oh, it is a clue. This one's cool too. It's Bud Westmore makeup department, although Bud, again, just like the creature, had nothing to do with it. Jack Keevan did all the work. You know? There's a funny story about Jack Keevan and Chris Muller. One day, I think it was Keevan, he was in the studio working, and a guy came in and said, they're doing some publicity shots today, and Bud Westmore's gonna come in. He's gonna want you to leave so he can take all the credit for doing the work that you've done. So if I was you, I wouldn't leave. I'd just hang out. So sure enough, in his little suit and tie, because if you notice the pictures, he's always dressed in his suit and tie. He's never dressed in a lab coat because he didn't do any of the work. poop. Anyway, so finish that story. So yeah, he came in and he said, "Oh, you can take a break now." So he said, "No, I'm gonna hang out." And he's like, "Okay." So sure enough, here comes the PR guy. So they're both in the shots because, come on, Jack, he really did all the work, and he was a little bitter about it when he got older, because you can't kind of blame him because he never got any credit. But now he's getting credit. Jack, we salute you. You were awesome. That's the way the makeup department worked back then. Now when a film rolls, the cast list goes on forever. I mean, for like 10 minutes. I mean, they even have the caterer. Who cares who made your hot dogs? It has nothing to do with the movie. They just ate. Here we go. And this is awesome work again. This is the mutant from this island Earth. And it's, again, the detail is so well done. I mean, I don't even know how they got those little teeny veins so well. They might have, when they made the mold, they might have actually put red acrylic in the mold, or whatever kind of substance this is, to get that detail so well done, because, looking at it closely, that detail is really pretty good. It really is well done. And that's what this little bar is. They had to hold on to these bars. Remember when the tubes came down the hill on the bars and you could see through them and all that? That's what that's for. So again, he goes right on here and he looks really awesome. Close up of the creech for detail. Just take a peek. Igor, just take a peek. My name is Igoro, and I took some of it from Igor. Speak of Bela Lugosi, and here he is again. Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula. I had a friend who worked at Universal Studios, and we would go up the escalator. They would play the track from Bela Lugosi, saying, "I never drink wine." And my friend thought he was saying, "I never drink." Why? This is the one thing that Sideshow Collectibles did that, I get it, but I'm not crazy about it, is that they put cloth for the cape, right? And again, they gave him the gray, which I suppose is more authentic, even though, we all think it's red, but it's a black and white film, and if it was red, it wouldn't have shown up like this gray, but, and it's good, it looks nice, but honestly, I would prefer that they made the cape, like the rest of it. Like the rest of the clothes, this vinyl, because then you could get more, detail in the cape. You could get it blown in the wind or something. So I never really liked the idea of giving them real clothes. I like the sculpted clothes. I think they look cooler. So I know maybe some people disagree, but I don't care. I don't like it as much. I think it'd be very cool if this cape was like blown in the wind and was more detailed. So you could get that look instead of, having this. It makes it look kind of like a doll. I don't know. It doesn't look bad though. It does look pretty cool. And the base is, again, really nice. They got a step on it so you can be stepping down, right? Which is really cool. That's very Lugosi. That's very much from the 31 Dracula. Very cool. Again, take a look at the detail. He is a really well sculpted Drac, and the nice thing about these is it looks like Lugosi. Here's his bat. Mummy! Ooh, what's stuck to his side? Oh, Karloff's the mummy, right? Now the interesting thing about this really is that in the Mummy, Karloff's 1933 Mummy, we never really see him like this moving. We see him like this in the coffin. We see his hand take the scroll of life. We see that poor little guy freak out and go insane seeing him. And then we just see the rags of him leaving the room. It's actually really quite brilliant. And again, it's pretty nice because it's got a really great base, right? Another close-up of him. He's a good-looking man. Fuller's Earth is what Jack Pierce used to make the mummy. And here's the little box with the scrolls, and the scroll is here. And then there's another, they don't make a version of Lon Chaney or Tom Tyler as the mummy, and I kind of wish they would have. Don Post in the 60s, the mummy was that. It was the model is Lon Chaney. The masks that Don Post made were Lon Chaney. I know that, you know, a lot of people consider the original Mummy a superior film, and I get that. You know, it is a great film, but, you know, a lot of people don't even like the Mummy chillers that came out, Mummy's Hand, Mummy's Ghost, Mummy's Tomb. I like them. Sorry, I do. I think they're fun. I think the Mummy's really creepy when he's, you know, sliding along and scraping his leg, and yeah, it's slow and stuff, but it is so cool. So I get why in the 60s they kind of focused on that mummy, because, you know, Imhotep is creepy. Karloff's creepy, and he's all, you know, with his little clothes and his little hat and everything, but come on, let's see the mummy. Let's see. Come on. Ah! Claude Rains as the Invisible Man, right? And you can see him. Of course you can. What would be the point? This is really well done too. Again, I love The Invisible Man. 1933, great film. Claude Rains was so excited to be in a film, and then he was so disappointed to find out, well, you're invisible. You're not going to be seen. But, you know, he did the film anyway. And then he thought, well, at the end I die, and they'll see my beautiful blue eyes. And they're like, no, you're dead. Your eyes are going to be closed. And he's like, oh, really? Come on. I want a room and a fire. You're crazy to know who I am, aren't you? Very well, I'll show you. Here's a souvenir for you, and one for you. I'll show you who I am, and what I am. I love this movie. It is so exquisite. John P. Fulton did the effects. Really well done. There are little weird details about it, like at the end when he's sleeping in the barn and they smoke him out of the barn. And he walks out and they see his footprints, and that's how they shoot him. The only problem is the footprints are shoes. They're not barefoot. Oops. But come on, you know, you can't help that. Anyway, everybody loves Claude Rains in The Invisible Man. And Kemp, that guy that plays Kemp, he's such a chump. He's just one of those cowards, you know? You're my partner, Kemp. He's just a little tattletale that cries, he's here, oh God, don't get me. You want him to strangle him. You kind of do. You kind of want him to just, and I think he actually does, doesn't he? Yeah, I believe he does. And then he sends him off in a car, off a cliff. So don't cross the Invisible Man. You're gonna regret it. Because he can see ya. Here's his close-up, and here's his base. And there it is. And there's a couple of books that he's reading too that you can, you know, have thrown down and stuff. But again, really looks like the detail of what we expect. I even like the glasses that have the side things so you can't see the fact that he has no eyes. Ooh, the Phantom of the Opera. Mask of the Red Death. There he is, the Phantom. And look at, you know, see, it's like he looks like Liberace. I don't want, hello ladies and gentlemen, let's high love it parade. I don't need this. It's too much. I get it, but it's a little crazy. But what is great about this one is that it is him specifically from that scene of the Phantom. I know I have another Phantom as well, but this is him with his skull mask on. 1925 silent version of Lon Chaney, Phantom of the Opera, and there's a little close-up of what he looks like. Very cool. Well, that's it. That's all for now. There's more Monsters in a Box, but that will be next time. So in the meantime, remember, I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Cool. Hey dudes, it's Cool Dude Ghoul here, filling in for Goro. He wanted me to touch base with you about continuing Monsters in the Box. He gave me a ringle-dingle on the old chingle, and I said, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'd be glad to help you out. So let's get to it. Let's get through these other items here. Oh! Ooh. Ah. You know who this is, dude? This is the old Cyclops from Ray Harryhausen, from the 7th Voyage of Sinbad. This is beautiful work. This is, I believe, another Sideshow collectible toy. Right? Yeah. He's got the big club. You know, that's so he can Kachaka! You know, this is based on the old Greek legends about the Cyclops. And he trapped one of the Greek mythical heroes in a cave, and the hero got the Cyclops drunk. Because the Cyclops could put a big rock in front of the cave, he couldn't get out, and all his fellow people that came with him. The Cyclops would eat a couple every day, and they're like, this has got to stop. And they couldn't get out, so they got him drunk, he fell asleep. And then they poked out his eye with a pole that they made out of a stick. I love this guy, only problem is he doesn't stand up. Oh, there he is. I don't know if you can see that, but there he is. I'll do a close-up of him later, but yeah, this is the old Cyclopso. Yeah, and he even has an alternative head. This is the double-horned head, and he's got a single-horned head. A pretty cool looking guy. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I know earlier Goro showed you a little bit of Phantom of the Opera. Well, this is the silver screen version of the Phantom. Of course, if you remember, my silver screen of the Bride is in the package still, because the package says Creature. Because here it is, black and white, but again, of the Bride, but Creature from the Black Lagoon. But anyway, yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, and here they are in the back. Silver screen edition. Creature, Phantom, and the Bride. I don't believe they made any more of these as far as the silver screen. Thing I've noticed about these is that they are jointed, and they've got these little things on the bottom. This one broke off, and that's my caution. They have a little pin, you know, the male part comes out, positive end, and it goes into the negative, the hole, right? Pin goes in the hole. Well, here's my caution, folks. Beware, because they break very easily. Goro's had these in storage, and even if you move the arm sometimes, they totally break right off. So I'm debating if I should just glue these to the stands, because every time you take them off, you risk those breaking. And even the arms, I had the Wolfman, and I moved the Wolfman arm, and he broke off. And I said, I'm sorry, Goro, and I fixed it, and then I moved the other hand, and it broke off. And I'm not kidding you. And all I did was move it, so they're very fragile. Now, I know there are other accoutrements that come with him. And like I said, at one point, I'm going to display them all. We're going to go through them and look at them later on. And I might do it, or it might be a Goro doing it. Don't really know. Might even be, you know, No Baloney Bill. Who knows? Oh, look at this. Beautiful. That's the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And again, this is the silver screen. As you recall, the Goro's Creature arm broke off. He did reglue it. Only problem is, once you glue it, it doesn't move anymore. But you don't want to be moving these too much anyway. Like I said, I'm almost debating if I should just put them up like an Aurora model kit. Just glue it right on its base, have it there, and then the accoutrements can still be loose. In other words, this one comes with a spear gun and a net. If it was in this packaging, it would have all made sense, huh? But again, this is really rare. If anybody knows how much this is worth, give old Goro or me, Cool Dude Ghoul, a call, and we'll check it out. Here's another one. Let's take a look, see it. Yowza! Ooh, Bride of Frankenstein. You can put the bride's head on as well, where she's unmasked as well. So they have the masked, or not the mask, but the wrapped up version of her. And then they have the version of her when they take the wrapping off of her. And she's a beaut. This also comes off. And you can see she's all wrapped head to toe. That's what's nice about these sideshows. They take different elements out of the film, different stages of where the creatures were. Even the Invisible Man, which I think Agoro showed you later on, has an invisible head or see-through plastic head that you can pop on. Ooh, and they're the Phantom. Dude, this one's the color version, the regular version of the Phantom. It's beautiful. The nice thing about these is, as I've said before, they're so accurate. And you know, Lon Chaney, he did some painful stuff, that man. He was kind of almost like a sadist. Hey, to each his own, you know. He put like wires, like kind of a wire around his eyes that made his eyes pop because he wanted that skull look for the Phantom, right? Thing is, those things, if they popped out, they could have sliced his eye. He was nuts. To make his eyes look blinded, he shaved off part of a hard-boiled egg, the white. He shaved it off and he put it on his eye like a contact. That's a great idea, except not, because eyes, you know, put an egg yolk on your eye, you could become infected. You know, it's not like a contact lens, but they didn't have them back there in the 20s. This man was innovative. He was doing stuff that, you know, no one else even thought of. So yeah, he put these wires in there. He also took like a fish hook and gave him the old nose, you know. I hope my nose is clear. I don't want you guys to see anything that'll spook your boogala, and no pun on the boogala. He had a wire hooked here that he hooked up back onto his wig piece that gave him the nose up, and then the wiring in the eyes. And he had a bunch of different teeth that he would use, but he was really, you know, people fainted when they saw his mask reveal in the Phantom, because that, at the time, that was quite shocking. And if you notice the Phantom, he's always has different versions that look different ways. The 43 version, which they didn't do here, which is interesting. They didn't do the Claude Rains one. Because the thing about Sideshow is they're strictly sticking to Sideshow. Sideshow is strictly sticking. It's easy for me to say. Strictly sticking to the Universal Monsters only. That's why you don't see Jekyll and Hyde, you know. Because that's a Paramount film, not a Universal. But I'm kind of curious why they didn't do other versions of The Mummy. I would have loved to have seen Sideshow do a Lon Chaney version of The Mummy, or even Tom Tyler, who played Shazam, Captain Marvel. Oh, yeah! Nobody is complete without the pinnacle, the classic, and I hate the word, iconic. I hate iconic. It's like at the end of the day, an iconic is that's anything, you know, that's all people can say. Well, at the end of the day, shut up, put a pickle in it, buddy. It's cool though. It's cool to say it at the end of the day. I'm cool with it. Classic Karloff Frankenstein monster. This is so well done. It is so beautiful. It's just plain beautiful. I love this Karloff. Take a good look at him. Like I said, eventually I'm going to take some really nice pictures of all these sideshows, because I do have them all. I looked at some when they had a full collection on display, and I thought, I got them all. I'm going to check, make sure, but I think I have every single one of them. Thing about Agoro's collection, all the boxes you haven't seen, he has everything. Because he was born turn of the, you know, he was born in like 1905. You know, he's a vampire-ish kind of guy. He's been around a long time, and he's got all most everything from the 60s, all the original Aurora kits. He's got almost all of them. A couple are reissues, but generally even the reissues are way back in the 80s and even the 70s. So he's on fire with Aurora. He has almost all of the famous monsters of Filmland. He's got other numerous magazines. He's got Film Facts. He's got Castle of Frankenstein, which was a really cool magazine. He's got a lot of them, and we're gonna see them all. I ain't kidding you. Not to mention some of his original movie posters. Anyway, that is Frankenstein, and that is the William Henry Pratt / Boris Karloff / James Whale / Frankenstein / So cool. I know that he's got a torch too. Someone knows a torch. But I don't know where it is right now. Ever know those people that do this? But when you're a little kid, remember you go to the drinking fountain, you'd be like, and the other kid's like, come on, you're hogging it. And you're like, anyway, I don't know where that came from. Oh, wowza. This is the original Lon Chaney Sr. Hunchback of Notre Dame. See, this is a weird thing too. I don't know if you remember the Aurora kits, but the Aurora kits were painted by an excellent artist. The covers by James Obama. And when he first started painting them, they didn't really pay attention to the painting as far as its context to the model. For example, I remember getting the original. Well, I digress. Let's finish this first. I'll go on later. So this is Lon Chaney Sr. as the Hunchback. And the Aurora model kit, they had him on the table, right? Getting whipped. What the? Right? They have a little crown for him because he was the king of the fools. And they have a cape I think he wore and stuff. And it's all in here somewhere. I prefer what they vinyl sculpted. It just, as I think Agoro said that before, where he's like, I'm not into the, the clothes because it makes them look like little dolls. And I love the hair. Look how they got the little, oops, can't say that word. Look how they have the little twists of hair coming out of his wig, because that's the way Lon Chaney Sr. had. That's the kind of wig he had. So that is just, again, just a nice detail. Looks like there's only one left in the finale. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Open up the curtain, please. I love this position. I'm very afraid to move him because I don't want that to break off. I'm not kidding you. These things will break off. They will. But this is Son of Frankenstein, 1939. This is the third and only Karloff monster films they made. Now, they did Son of Frankenstein. I don't believe they made a version of The Bride, which is too bad, because, the Bride's where his hair was totally different, right? It was burned from the windmill fire, and then you can see I've got them both here to compare. They look very similar. Karloff gained a little weight because he was a little older by the time this film came out. But they also put this big furry thing on him, right? Which was only in this film, but, comics and a lot of versions of the monster, they use this. They use it a lot in comics, like even the Marvel Frankensteins, they always gave him the furry thing. Jack Davis, a great illustrator who worked for Mad Magazine, he did a great Frankenstein cartoon poster, and he had the fuzzy vest on as well. This one looks a little off. And the reason his arm is open like that is because of, look at here, Inspector's arm, which he tore off at the end of Son of Frankenstein. And the irony is that Lionel Atwill, who played the Inspector Krug, apparently when Lionel Atwill was a little child, the monster grabbed him to move him or something and pulled off his arm. And that's, he talks about it in the film, and that's pretty spooky, because you never saw Frankenstein's monster tearing people's arms off in Universal movies in the 30s. And this happens at the very end of the film, when the monster's right by the sulfur pit, rips off the inspector's arm, and the inspector's shooting him. Bullets aren't even hurting him. And then Basil Rathbone, as the young Frankenstein, swings off on a rope and kicks him right in the chest, and he falls into the pit of sulfur. Anyway, that is the Son of Frankenstein, the monster. And again, Karloff, really nice detail. Think that's all we got for today for Monsters in the Box. This is Cool Dude Ghoul signing off. I'll see you later. Keep it cool, dude. Hello, it's me, Agoro. I posted a picture from a very famous old horror film. A lot of people didn't know what it was, but there was one guy who did know, and his name is Kurt McCoy. Kurt McCoy is the first one to call it. A couple other people got it too. I give people kudos. They did recognize it eventually, but it stumped people for a while. But he did get it, and let's take a peek and see what it's from now. And there it is, and oh, of course, House of Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, J. Carrol Naish, John Carradine, and Glenn Strange as the Frankenstein monster. It's a great shot. It's really brief, really quick. It's at the very beginning of when they go into the ice cave and discover Frankenstein's monster and the Wolfman, who are having it out. And Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and then the dam came and washed away the castle. And then they got all frozen in ice. The Wolfman, he's frozen. Frankenstein, he's frozen, although it was a stunt double. And they thawed him out, set a little fire, thawed him out, and then this shot, it's kind of hard to identify. It's very brief, but it's a big master shot of the frozen ice cave. So good job, Kurt McCoy. And here's what Kurt gets. He gets a brand new car. Of course he doesn't. I don't have a car. I drive around an old clunker myself. He gets a brand new Dawn Post mask. I can't even keep a straight face saying that. No, he doesn't. But what I would like Kurt to do, recommend a show that I can host. And if it's a show that's public domain, I will host it. So Kurt, dig into your old head, see what you like, see if you can find one that's public domain. Let me know, post it right here on YouTube and or on Facebook, but I prefer YouTube. And please subscribe, people. It's a fun show most of the time. So anyway, let me know, Kurt, what show you would like me to host, and if it's public domain, I'll do it. Keep in mind, I've already hosted some, so take a look at the shows I've already hosted. We don't want to rerun, because I'm not doing that. Gotta take a little water break here. A lot of people do that after they take a sip. They go, I'm one of them. So, let's move on. Let's do a few more monsters in the box, huh? Yeah. Let's get a new box. This is from my old home when I was a little Goro. Anybody know a good clasp for my cape that's not too infringing? Let me know, because it keeps flopping off. I like the one that Christopher Lee wears in his Dracula films. And I like the one that Lugosi wears, although I've never really seen his clip on his cape. I wonder if he just wears it like this. I think he does. I don't think, let me know if Bela Lugosi ever wore it like a little chain. I know that Christopher Lee had one. I'm sure they did something there. Oh, look at it. Got a lot of dust. That's the other thing. When I picked up these babies, oops. Oh, I feel so naked. Yeah, so when I got all these monster models from my shelves, I didn't have any time to clean them. I just wrapped them up, put them in the box, and here I am with them. So this one is, oh yeah, I remember these. Boy, this one needs a cleaning. This is not an Aurora. I'm not sure what kid it is, let me know. But huge tarantula crushes power station. Hate that when that happens. We get a lot of power outages where I live. It's a bummer. Finally had to buy a generator. Anyway, look at this. Again, it needs a cleaning and it also needs some touch up. The tower's a little loose. Cable work though is nice on it, huh? The tarantula's cool. Again, I need to re-glue and do some work here. I had a little bit of lichen here, which is what they used to make little bushes and stuff. That got pulled off. Oh well, c'est la vie. But there it is, the tarantula, crushing, destroying the power station. That's a beauty. Take a look at it close up. Again, really dusty, it's got lots of dust, but it's very cool. Ah, wowza. This is the Hunchback from Notre Dame, the Golden Edition, not audition. Okay, Quasimodo, we want you to play a very poor beggar girl. Oh, never mind, we got that role filled. That'll be played by Maureen O'Hara. This is interesting now. I painted it gold because I'm an idiot. I don't really know why I painted it gold. I know I have another one though that's normal. But I think, I don't know why I did it. I was missing some brain cells. It was the 70s, man. Anyway, this is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And the interesting thing about this Hunchback model is, I was talking about this before. James Bama, he basically painted the covers, which are awesome, of all the Aurora monsters. He did all the paintings that were the boxes. And at one point he started, somebody complained because he did a Dracula, which was, you know, Abbott and Costello, Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Who only played Dracula twice, by the way. He should have been in House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula. I contest! But anyway, some people complain because, you know, there's always those thumbs downers that complain, but they didn't like that, that the Dracula didn't look like the model, because in the cover, he's standing by a castle wall and there's a bat in the window, and we know how it goes, right? But the model, he's not in the castle, he's outside, and the cape's different and it just doesn't look like the painting. So they complained about that. So at that point on, James Bama started having to paint the model to look exactly like, the painting to look exactly like the model, right? So if you notice, the Mummy and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, which both come to mind, they look exactly like the model. They didn't have any fancy backgrounds. It was just a creature against a colored background. Same with the Mummy. So, like the Wolfman is a weird combination of Curse of the Werewolf, because Universal distributed that Hammer film, Curse of the Werewolf. So he's got this weird kind of mix of Curse of the Wolfman and then a little bit of Lon Chaney on the cover. But then the model is Lon Chaney, but again, he's all buff. He doesn't have his shirt on. It doesn't really look like the Wolfman from the movie. It doesn't. It's cool, but it doesn't really look like the movie Wolfman. So, you know, they kind of did that. So, to get back on point here, this Hunchback, you'll notice, he doesn't really look like Lon Chaney. He doesn't really look like Anthony Quinn, and he certainly doesn't look like Charles Laughton. So what happened originally is they painted the cover of the James Bama painting was oh, my time is up. The painting of the Hunchback was Anthony Quinn, and apparently they were not happy about that. So he had to change the painting, and it didn't really look like Lon Chaney Sr., which I don't know why they didn't do that. Universal had the rights to that one. It just looks like a mishmash of different Hunchbacks. And then they called it the Bell Ringer. It was no longer called the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and now it's called the Bell Ringer. But I had the original models anyway. So that's what kind of happened with this Hunchback. I don't even know if this is worth showing you at this point, but I'll try. It's the Mummy's Chariot. Here's the Mummy. Looks like he's streaking, right? Except he's wrapped up, he's protected. But yeah, he fell out of the chariot, which, here's the chariot. He goes in there like that, Sort of, right? Here's the engine. I'll have to put it all together later. Not gonna get far without that engine, but it goes in there. It's gonna need a total rebuild. Here's one of the Cobras. Those are so cool, don't you love that? How they put those right. Let me try to put this on here. So I built the sand base myself, very proud of that. And then this other Cobra, he goes right in there. Sort of. But anyway, there's the Mummy's Chariot. And I'll re-glue this. Again, I pulled all these out and time just has, but it's still actually in very good shape. Despite the fact that it's falling apart. And again, how appropriate that there's dust on my mummy. But yeah, big time dust here. So I gotta clean these suckers up and glue them. But that's the Mummy's Chariot. I don't have the Frankenstein one or the Drac one or the Godzilla or Kong one. I think they made all of those. That's all for today. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.